There's going to be a lot of spoilers on today's journal, but I am so excited that I've actually predicted one of the biggest plot twists, at least so far. So if you don't want to know what that is, look away. Otherwise, let's go on a Monster Hunter Stories 2 journal. Pidgey hunts. Oh, it's been a while. I think we're on only our third chapter, but I'm getting close to the credits of this story. So I've really been chopping my journey of Monster Hunter Stories into massive blocks. And this last block is a big one because we're going to be talking about the last time we left off with the stray kittens. And now we're going to go from like Kyle being our jerk partner to Kyle being our less jerk partner. There's a lot to cover. I also want to, oh my goodness, what's happening with my voice? I also want to share that with the recent stream, I've found a way to optimize my PC, and now I stream everything on 60 frames per second. So if you notice the footage is sometimes a little bit smoother, it's because it was taken from more modern, more recent streams, whereas before we were on that old garbage 30 frames per second. So anyways, last time we were in the Primordial Gardens with some kitties. We hadn't quite met Kyle yet, who would be our next partner. But I encountered a green Nargacuga, and Nargacuga has been my bay monster the whole time. Like, I love just being able to avoid all the fights and just focus on getting to the boss at the next point of the story. But now Nargacuga is getting a little bit weak against everything. Like, he's not as good. And so when I saw green Nargacuga, I was like, oh, finally I can buff up my Nargacuga and get a little bit more of a recent monster to do all my stealthy stuff. So I fought my first green Nargacuga and I died. I don't know if I died, but it was hard. Remember, some of this stuff is like a month ago. Yeah, green Nargacuga was hard, but also I didn't have a partner at this point. So I was going at all my fights with just myself and my Monstie, which is a lot harder. So I eventually went back on the story grind so I could get my next partner, not realizing it was going to be freaking Kyle. I was like, oh, why am I with this guy? He's like a hunter, but he's an archer. He doesn't have a Monstie, and he's just so snarky. He's like, you heal him, he's like, I didn't need that. And he's always just bad-mouthing me, and I'm like, you know what? Why are you even with me? Why were we? Oh yeah, it was we were investigating the area together. And then that whole area, we learned a little bit about Navru's backstory. Honestly, in hindsight, I think this whole like segment of the game was maybe a bit of a low point. Like, we had just gone off the high of a Diablo's tower. We had, seen these villains in cool armor. From all of that, we go to fighting a duck, having Kyle as our partner, having a kitty village with no smith, and we're just riding around looking for a Mizutsune in the end. In the end, it was Mizutsune. Not the strongest. Oh, and we get Navru backstory. Like, that's what we're getting. It's like, oh my god. So definitely, I think the lowest point of the game story so far. So I took the chance to catch up on a lot of like side quests that I was missing. I've really been enjoying just kind of putting some time and just like knocking off the old stuff just to get my list complete, and of course filling out my Monsterpedia and Monsterpedia. So here we finished. We came across a Lagia cruise, like Lagia Chris. I don't know what it's. Everyone calls him Laggy, so we're gonna call him Laggy. So he's the flagship of Monster Hunter 3 or 3 Ultimate. I don't know if there's a difference, but he was a pretty fun monster to fight. I like the fact that you have to like break his back to like stop his lightning. What Mizutsune was really beautiful. Like, the setting was perfect. Like, we're in a place with sakura trees, and Mizutsune is just always so beautiful. And that fight was, as far as I remember, pretty comfortable. So after that stream, I actually did try multiplayer because someone's like, hey, why don't we try to get some Palamutes? So I'm like, all right. So I got a Palamute ticket. We did multiplayer. Shout out to Unknown Man for helping me out. It was actually, I got like 3 new eggs through that. I didn't realize you get multiple eggs by doing the special Palamute expedition. And it was really just kind of fun to play with someone online. Whoop. So I also learned about the power of Apanoth with Unknown Man. So I was like, why are they fighting with an Apanoth? And then we get into a fight and they unleash the Apanoth's like special move where it's like slip on a banana and it just tosses the whole Apanoth at the monster. It's like one hit KO. And I'm just like, oh, OP monster right there. That's pretty cool. So that was a good laugh. Then after that, we journeyed into the volcano. I actually really got tired of the volcano zone. I was just tired of seeing just brightness. And it's probably because I'm playing Dark Souls 2, so everything is just like dark and fiery everywhere. But the volcano zone had a lot of notable monsters, specifically Gravios, which is the first time I encountered the monster. I'm a big fan of rock type monsters, so I like that. Uragon, which I did enjoy in Monster Hunter World, did not enjoy him here. I just don't want to deal with you and your boom booms. We have Brachydios, of course, which I'm a big fan of. Astalos, I finally got to meet Astalos, which I think is one of the Fated 4. It was the only one I had not met yet. Super cool design, lightning based monster. I don't have one yet, but I want one. And then we got kind of shitty Agnactor, or like chomp guy, like that sound of just like the oh man, I don't know, that sound, I'm not a big fan of it. But otherwise there was a lot of cool monsters. I like that there were some like Gravios, you can walk in the lava and stuff. And then this segment was there was a lot of cool stuff in this segment because we get to meet Cheval, which I didn't know, but apparently he is a character from Monster Hunter Stories 1. I think he was like the villain or the Sasuke of the first one. Really love the fact that he has Rathian. He's got a cool character design and he's a sword and shield user. I don't know. I liked everything about him. He was a pretty fun character. And we're hunting Nergigante. I'm like, oh, sign me up. Cool character with a cool monster with a cool mission. Yeah, and to top it all off, outside the volcano, we make it to the section with Nuate, which is a really cool village in the mountains that you can only fly to. Everything is cool, and I'm going to get like deactivate the dislike button for a moment because this is also where we met Umlana, which I've seen a lot of love, and I've seen some people really fawn over Umlana as being like the best waifu in the game. I'm not going to hide it from anybody, but Umlana is at the bottom of my waifu list for this game. Like, all the other waifus that came before Umlana are superior in every way. So my personal preference, I don't see anything special or exciting or fun about Umlana. She's kind of okay. I'm not gonna say more because I don't want to say like bad things and upset you all and like lose the channel. So I'm just gonna say Umlana, not a big fan. So while we were here, but anyways, this whole zone's so cool. In fact, we invested some time into leveling up our prayer pot. Prayer pot is now like level 15 or something. He's doing pretty good. Not that he does anything about it. We've also got, I think, what's going to be my final armor. I've come across a nice samurai armor set. I got rid of the helmet because the helmet kind of like hides my hair. I gotta have nice hair, but the armor's nice. We dyed it blue, of course, and I'm completely happy to finish the game with this samurai armor. It kind of sucks because I'm probably not gonna be fashion hunting more because I'm like, I've found the best one. So we got our armor, we've got cool Cheval, we've got not so cool Umlana, we've got a cool area, and we finally have a name for our boss at the bottom of the pit. So we learned, actually this is where we reveal it. Yeah, so we saw that there's a big like snake thing that's at the bottom of the pit called Altura. And this thing reminded me of something from like Life is Strange. Like it looks like one of those things. Well, it looks like a monster. Like it looks like a big plant, worm thing. Like all the designs of these big evil things, all I think draw inspiration from the same source or something. Can't wait to kill it. I don't want to, it's not cool. It's lame. I just want it dead. It's giving like, it's creating these big dumb pits everywhere for some reason. It's a stupid monster. Let's go kill it. So we kill the Nergigante, and now the next chapter of the game opens up, which lets me actually collect a Nergigante as a monster, which I have done, and the egg was the coolest egg I have seen. And now though, we get freaking Kyle back. Out of all the allies that you have to have a second time, Kyle is probably the worst one. But they give him the redemption arc, so he's less of a jerk, but it's still like, ugh, you couldn't give me back like freaking Kina or the other one in the snow area that I forget her name. Like, man, why do I have to have Kyle again? I have to have Kyle to face 3 bosses. Do you know how hard it was to kill Galavinus with Kyle? It was really hard, man. I had to grind up a Mizutsune just to do it because Kyle was kind of useless. So yeah, now we have to go visit pits again, see our old friends, not have them join our party, say no, I'm with Kyle now, and fight bosses. So we fought Glavenus. He was tough. He destroyed me so many times. Then we went and we got the glacial Agnactor, the freaking chomp thing, which just in ice flavor. That one wasn't as bad It's just not exciting of a monster. But I'm so glad I did them in order, because the third boss, the third pit, was, I think, the best way to reveal this next monster, which was Basil Goose. So, you know, they set it up where you're like fighting one of like little raptor things, Gen something. And I'm like, really? This is what, like, we're just going to fight a pack of these? Okay, let's go. And I'm like, clearly something's going to go on. And then just freaking like alert warning. We haven't seen that since like the Anjanath fight at the beginning of the game. And then Basil Goose at the top. I'm like, oh my God, they couldn't have picked a better monster to reveal this way. So Basil Goose, let's go. Finally, I think at this point, Basil Goose was weak to lightning, if I remember right. So Kyle was kind of useful here. Fun fight. I learned what Blast Blight does, which was very unpleasant. I'm always like, oh, what is the point of like his aerial bomb does barely hurts? And people are like, that's not the point of the damage. And then I didn't cure my Blast Blight, and then my party almost wiped because it goes boom in 2 turns. So all of that, I mean, I've wrapped up a lot of story and gameplay. That's like 12 hours of story and gameplay that I wrapped up in like 10 minutes. But finally, we got our like final arc story bits where we finally get to see the villain, and he reveals himself. And I can't believe I was right with this. If you remember, like a journal ago, I think is when I called it, I was like, oh, the hoofs, the eyes, this has got to be Zellard. And I thought that was kind of a long shot. Like that, I legit thought that he was a good, like that would probably be the villain, but I did not think the story would actually go that way. He's like, it is I, Zellard. I was like, what? How am I right? I'm like, I don't get it. And he's like, yeah, I want to see the world end. And it's like, what? As a villain, that is your prerogative. Your prerogative is sometimes we just got to let things take their course, and I want to see it end, even though I die. And like Naviru has the best point. He's like, I don't want to die. He's like, well, tough. So it's like your reason to fight him is because you don't want to die. And his reason to fight you is let things happen and we all die. It's such a, like, would there be a villain who would ever want to do that? Maybe. And so we fought a bunch of hunters. We now have another reason to hate Zellard, because I didn't like Zellard before we knew he was the villain. And now the whole sky has gone like super dark. We're back on Hakolo Island, if that was the name of it. We're back with Kana. We touched her face again. Things are good and going good. But now, and all the Rathalos just like came back to the light for some reason. I don't know why they left in the first place, to just come back like flies to a light and get like incinerated. I think that's what happened. But now pretty much the game is set up like a typical JRPG of like, it's time to fight God. And so I think we've got Altura to fight next week, but I'm going to do a bit more side quest clearing. But it looks like I will be rolling credits on the story of Monster Hunter Stories 2 next week. Really looking forward to seeing how all of that story wraps up and what all the features are of high rank and post game, and like going after all these other monsties and learning about the new monsters and the challenges. I know there's a lot more content Capcom announced, so I'm really looking forward to trying like the Rathalos that they just added. What's it called? Oh man, I forget. It's like a cooler Rathalos, and they've got Fatalis coming to the game. So I got a lot of catching up on to do on the post game stuff, the achievement grind. So there's at least 1 or 2 more journals coming for this game before we put it to rest and start something new. So I'll see you on the next journal or on the next stream as we wrap up credits. Remember, it's Saturday morning, 8 a.m. Eastern time. I'll see you then. And until next time, keep it classy.